Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night and we are live. We are the Millionaire Ladies Mob, hailing from Arizona, Maryland, and Atlanta. And as always, we are here to share, to educate, to elevate you on your money matters. So we hope you're joining us tonight. I see that we're having some problems with Facebook. Um, so if you typically join us on Facebook, you might be having some problems. However, we'll make sure that this live is shared from our YouTube channel. But you can always find us on YouTube at Millionaire Ladies Mom. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Woo woo! I'm fine. I'm
Excellent.
fine. I'm
Excellent. Just
good.
happy to be in the building. I missed y'all last session, so I couldn't wait to get in here today.
Awesome, awesome. And you look great, Saran. I'm loving it. I'm loving the hairstyle. That orange looks great on you.
Orange is great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
orange is great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Aaliyah, how about you? What's been going on?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready to excited to talk about, closing the wealth gap, the gender wealth gap. Now that's where it is. I love that topic, Carmen. I love that topic. But I just want to welcome everybody to the Millionaire Ladies Mob tonight. I know Carmen already gave the welcome, but we have really, really some good information on this wealth gap because the last few years, I think it's even gotten worse. I think it's gotten worse. And as far as most women, especially the ones that I talk to, because I talk to a lot of people every day, and I'm helping them with their health insurance. And something as simple as that, I see the disparity. I see it, and it pains me.
Hmm.
You
It really
know, you're absolutely right. I chose this topic, of course, because we are at the end of Women's International Heritage Month, and these two this month we tried to focus on women. Um, Although some of us here, I know that Saran, what she'll help anybody, but her specialty is women, and but because it was Women's International Month, I thought this was a good time to talk about it. And last week we talked a little bit about this, but this topic is big. It's not good enough for one show. And the things we're going to talk about tonight, we have spoken about many times over the past couple of years. But it bears repeating and sharing because things change. Our audiences may have changed. I know we have definitely grown, and we'd like to thank you for that. But we want you to continue to share this information because it's absolutely important. And when it comes to women, things that we take for granted is it's actually because of systematic things that are set up that causes this to happen, and we need to talk about it, right? So we talked a little bit about the income gap between men and women. Well, guess what? That has a direct correlation to our wealth as women, right? If we're not earning as if we're not earning equal pay to men, and we're not, then we're going to find it hard to be able to gain wealth equally, right?
Mhm.
And there's lots of reasons that happens just because of our gender. So I believe it is an important topic to talk about. And the very first thing, like we always say, the first step in any financial journey is education. We have to make sure that we get a financial education. And for years, this was on the back burner. As women, we left that to our husbands, right? Because that's what we saw that our mothers did. So we did that too. Our dads were the ones to take care of the family, and or uncles or whomever we see that figure, that was the we were left to take care of the children, we took care of the house, but we left the part about income and wealth and financial matters to our husbands. So that is one area. That's one of the reasons why we struggle to close that gap. So getting into financial education is absolutely important, especially when this wasn't something that we did before. What do y'all say?
I think that I agree 100% because statistically, right? You know me, I'm the statistics girl. Women earn 21% less than men. And when you start, and that's in general, but when you drill that down to African American and Latina women, the percentages are higher. We're making 40 and 45% less than our men, depending on the industry and the work that we're doing. And the big thing is that gap creates long-term financial impact when we live longer, right? We live 21 years longer than our men. And so by us outliving them and making less money, we're more likely to need government assistance and charity in our older years. And that's one of the things that we're here to fight against, to make sure that our women are in place to take care of themselves for them extra 21 years that we outlive our spouses or our honeydews, the men that we marry. And the thing is that our life expectancy is just so much longer that we have to look at our money much closer. We love hubby. We love him. He's doing a great job. But you got to learn how to manage the money too, simply because you have we're going to technically have less to manage and we have longer to live on it. And so making sure that we are using our resources and getting in the room when people are having seminars and workshops and boot camps and spending a little money, because everything isn't free, spending a little money to get that extra education, to get us over the hump, to get us mentored into better financial states. I think that's where we're going to come to a place of closing the gap, even just a little bit, because even 1% change is going to be the major thing that's going to take us to a different place. And so that really is my first my thing that I'm saying here. But it's so important for us to talk about it, because we just don't, for many women, especially here in the DMV area, we don't feel like there's a gap because we're doing well.
Right. But you're absolutely right. There's a gap. And that number that you use is really important for us to delve into, right? We are earning 21% less than men as women in general. And as you said, that when you break that down further, it's even more. But let's use that for a second, right? So let's say it was 20% and we used a salary of $100,000. That means for every $100,000 that our male counterparts are having, we're only getting 80, right? That's $20,000 left on the table. And if we look at that over a 40-year career, that's $800,000, right? Imagine what we can do with $800,000 that were added to our wealth. Imagine what we could do with $20,000 every single year, right? And from the standpoint that we come from, where we talk about putting money to work, imagine if we were putting that $20,000 per year to work for 40 years.
Yeah.
I really want our audience to get this, guys. Put it in the chat if you really are understanding, getting what we're talking about. Because like Saran says, we are doing okay, right?
We're doing good. I mean, we're doing better than just that. We're doing pretty good. We look good. We feel good.
Yeah, we look good. We feel that we're doing good. But don't let this sham come over our eyes, and let's not open, because we should be doing better, right? Anything they can do.
Are you trying to do that old ad where the lady had her arms up with the do-rag on? Listen, come on, that's a whole other century ago.
Dare I say it better, right? Listen, dare I say we can do it better. So what can we do with that $20,000, right? And so if we have to work even harder at putting our money to work for us, because we have less of it in the first place because we're not paid equally. And then we have less of it because we're not being able to use it to eliminate debt. We're not able to use it to grow it. We're not able to use it to turn it in that generational wealth. So that's absolutely important. And that's part of the education, because if we understand that, we're going to make different decisions. No matter, not to not to mention outcry about making sure that these changes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you know what I thought about when I was looking at this? I saw statistics about women opening businesses.
Mhm.
Now, we are very industrious. You know, we are super industrious. When you go, when I travel to different countries, and you see most of the women are out there, they're the ones that are doing, coming up to you and selling the wares and just being very industrious, working from sun up to sundown. We know how to work. We know how to do it. And it said like 40, I think it was 49% of the startups were started by women. But what does that equate to? Does that equate to wealth, or does it equate to just starting a business and just working, and not really making enough money to make a difference in the wage gap? That's a good question to ask.
I love that, because I think the women are starting businesses by the droves, which is great. And I think that if they're starting the businesses to build their retirement, is a great reason to do it, because that could be one of those things that are gap filler for our retirement, because we don't always get the amount that we're worth at the job that maybe we're working, and we may have to find a way to fill that gap filler. So that's one of the ways I think that women are closing that wealth gap. And not only closing it, some women are out here killing the game and becoming 6 and 7 figure earners, millionaires in their businesses when they're able to crack the code and do what they need to do. Because the thing is that a lot of times there's some percentages out here that women, there's a number that says about 27% of women, depending on what they're working, the type of industry in, they're not even offered retirement benefits compared to men at 17%. But the thing that's changing for us as women are the laws, right? The laws are coming in a place where they're forcing companies, the smaller companies that weren't offering these benefits, to offer them to everyone, so that everybody has an opportunity to contribute something towards their future self or their retirement self. But is it going to be enough? Right? With the way the rate of inflation is growing, the things are going to cost more in 20 or 30 years. Dollar is going to be worth less than it was before. And so that gap filler is sometimes that business, right? And you talked about it from the street vendor type of business, where you're selling your wares and your crafts. And there's women who are doing big business, creating leadership companies and financial companies and logistics companies and all that, where we're really taking the bull by the horn, as they say, and creating our own financial futures.
I agree with that. I saw, let me say this one thing. I saw one of the, there's a very popular tennis player. I guess she's retired, whatever. But I saw she created a company where they invest in women's businesses. You have to send her your information. You have to send her, you have to pitch her. But it's specifically for women. I thought that was so, when I saw a special, and I'm like, that is wonderful. She is really trying to help the female, the woman, the mother, just to build a business. And she knows we need help. She knows that there is, it's lacking in the world. It's lacking for us women. And then one more thing, what you said, I think, Saran, you said about retirement and helping us to put things away. I came up in a time when companies actually did the retirement for you, and you did not have to contribute. You didn't have to contribute. There were companies, and I don't think that the generation now understands that, where you would go work for a job and they literally contributed to your retirement, and then people that are retired now are taking the benefits of that. The 401k, which is the now what we understand, was brought on later because the employers didn't want to contribute any longer. They wanted you to participate. So there was a time when you didn't have to worry. I just got a surprise in the mail. I'm going to have a little retirement because I worked for a company that did that, and I didn't have to contribute. So there were times, and I wish those times would come back, because a lot of us are just not savers. A lot of us are, and there were tax benefits. There was benefits to being a company that did that. You could hire the best of the best. And one of the things, especially about the retirement plans, if you are looking for a job and you go and look at the benefits package and there's no retirement plan, do you make a decision based on that? Well, maybe you should, if you're not an entrepreneur by heart. That's just a thought. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot to unpack from both of you ladies, what you just shared. And starting with the business and understanding that businesses are helping us to close the wealth gap. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but even in that, even in understanding that women are starting businesses in droves and women are killing it doing businesses, whether it's from craft or wares, all the way to the top of the food chain, so to speak, right? In leadership, in logistics, in finance, and all of these things. It is harder for women just because of our gender, for lots of things. Even when it comes to getting funding, right? We are judged harshly. We are judged differently than men, and not only by men, by women, because we were so prone to think that the man is the one that will take care of that and will do this, and they're seen as more in control, and women are emotional, and can she really handle $100 million in funding? And so we have to pitch even harder when it comes to getting funding for starting our companies, right? We are seen as different when it comes to communicating, because we are seen as being emotional, and reacting with our emotions as opposed to logical. We're dare I say, called sometimes, when we're being hard nosed, when we're pushing back, we are called the B word, right? Yeah. Because we are being assertive, we are called aggressive, and even more so for other genders, especially in the Black community. Now we are the angry Black women. So all of these things are things to take into consideration, right? Whether it's communication, whether it's um, whether it's funding, all of these things affect our businesses, and ultimately affects our wealth, right? So we have to push a little harder. We have to do things a little more different so that we can keep up, so that we can do what we're doing. And that's actually what has been happening. That's actually what has been happening in order for us to be where we are.
And I love that, because, one of the things I was going to bring up is not only the earning less, but the challenge becomes we will have sometimes fewer years of earned income. What do I mean? Well, we're more likely to spend 5-10 years out of the workforce in general, when we're taking care, when we're having kids in the beginning. If we're able to, and it really depends on income, right? If we're at the income level where we can stay home with the kids until they're 5 or 6 and start school, and then we're more likely to be the ones who are caring for our parents.
Exactly.
Even when our parents need to be cared for. So this is time not earning income, and that's money that we're not compiling to earn interest. And so, and then even in those times, we might layer that with maybe a part-time job where we're making way, way less and not able to contribute because we are caregiving, we are taking care of the kids, we are making sure that, you know, our families are taken care of, because that's absolutely important. Because but the thing is that it does impact us financially. And then we go back to the statistic of us outliving our men. Now we've worked less, we've earned less, we've invested less, we don't
Our
have as much in our
retirement address.
retirement. Now we're living longer and we have less to live on. And now we're dependent on the government. We're dependent on, we need our families more financially. You know, God forbid we have a health issue, then we need our families for that. But I do see some positive trends coming out of it. And some of the positive trends for the women who are lucky enough to retire now, right now, not next year, but right now, that are 62, 65, 67, able to retire right now. You are getting your money from the Social Security. You are getting your retirement money from your job. You might have already had a job that had a pension, like Aaliyah mentioned, and you might have a job that had 401k. So you got some 4 streams of income. You might have met with me, Carmen, or Aaliyah a couple of years ago, and you got some tax-free money coming to you too. And they are killing the game. The women who are coming out now and retiring are coming out a little bit on top because they're not at risk of losing that extra Social Security money. And they're super healthy now. I meet 60-plus-year-old women. I'm like, what? Thought you were in your late 40s. And we're doing better with our health. So we're trending in a better direction because we've taken the time to get these education and doing some stuff, but not enough women are doing it. And so our conversation today is not for the 60 or 70-year-old woman who has taken the time and gotten together. This conversation is for our 20s and 30-year-old women who you got to get on top of the game, because the reality is all we have in life is time to spend and enjoy, but our money needs that same time to build and grow. So we got to use that time 2 ways. We got to build and grow, and we got to live life. And so it's finding that happy balance to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really want to jump in here a little bit because most of the women that you're speaking about are the baby boomers. I am the last of the baby boomers. So we are coming into retirement. The last of the baby boomers are now coming into retirement in the next 5, 6, 7 years. And so we are the last of the ones to enjoy what we used to call that 3-legged stool for retirement. You know, we had some savings. We also have Social Security, and we have a pension, most of us. And I love that you said that this conversation is more for those younger people, because guess what? They do not have that pension and they're living life on the hog. I'm not saying not to enjoy life, but they're living life on the hog. So they are just spending, and we are not sure about what's going to happen with Social Security, right? Right now, if you're paying any attention, you see Social Security is about to run out by 2030. And part of the reason for that, you got to understand, when Social Security started, number one, it was a lot more people putting in money than drawing out money. Number two, the lifespan of people, we weren't living as long. So a lot of those people put in their money, but they died and it was their banking. For us people now who are living longer, so more people are drawing, especially because the baby boomers, it's the baby boomers again. We are being blamed right now because we are pulling out all of the money now. We're drawing out all of the money now. But don't get it twisted. It's the baby boomers that were doing things like holding the country up when the men went off to war, and we were the ones that went in there. I can't believe that I'm talking about that. I wasn't even alive, y'all. I'm barely a boomer. I'm a boomer millennial.
You said Gen X. You people keep skipping
Boomer,
Gen X.
yeah,
Going
boomer
through the fight.
Xer. Sorry, boomer Xer. I'm a boomer Xer for real. Because I'm born in the middle of the last year where the baby boomers stopped off. But back from since 30s, I think it starts from like 1937 or something like that. These are the people that were holding up the country. So some of the spoils that they are getting now, hey, let them have it. They worked hard for it. But we want to make sure that we are taking care of not just the Gen Xers, but the millennials and exennials and all of the other people that are coming. Because if they have this education, if they understand, now they can make some changes and they're not surprised when they get there.
But you know what? When Social Security came about, it wasn't meant for us to be a retirement vehicle completely. And that's all we had. You know, that's not what it was meant for. It was meant to supplement whatever retirement you have. And if you did what you were supposed to do in your working years, then you had extra. But right now, I was talking to a client, and we were just talking about when she was going to be able to draw Social Security, and she said she thinks it's 70 years old. I'm like, you know, unless you're working for yourself and you are an insurance agent like us, you working till you're 70 is going to be difficult. I could get up in the morning and work 3 or 4 hours, you know, at age 80 if I wanted to, because I can be independent and I can sell all over the country. So those are some things you make some choices. What kind of work do you want to do? Do you want to be a Walmart greeter? Well, maybe you do because you want to go out because you're lonely and then you don't have anybody to talk to at home. It's nothing wrong with that. Some people do enjoy that. Some people enjoy driving people around in a bus and talking to them, or driving and sightseeing, or being a tour operator or something like that in your older years, because you might know the city that you live in. Maybe that's something that you can do. But Social Security was not really meant to live on. And a lot of people now, that's what they live on. The seniors that I talk to, when I go over their Medicare, they're living on that Social Security. There's no other income, nothing else they can do to get that income, because that's what they were expecting and wanting for so long until they retired. I can't wait to my Social Security. Well, no, that was supposed to supplement.
But you know what? It's crazy because I'm looking at some stats online as I was preparing, and one of the stats, it actually says Social Security lifts 8.8 million elderly women out of poverty, right? And this was in it's a little older. It's from 2017, from a couple different sources: Centers for Disease Control, Senate Joint Committee, Administration of Community Living, AARP. But here's the thing. I love how they say lifts women out of poverty. It's my money.
That's right.
Let me out somewhere. You got my money.
Yes.
Okay. Did I miss something? Did you not take that out of my paycheck since I got my first summer job at 14?
Yeah.
Did I miss something? And I'm not I'm having a conundrum here. You're lifting me out of poverty with my money.
Mm-hmm. And they want to take it away from you.
And if I had the money, I could have, you could have taught me how to invest it myself and I would have it. Case in point, there's a Senate Joint Committee video from February 28th, 2024, where the guy is talking about we're spending the money as fast as it comes in. What? So you mean to tell me the Social Security that I'm paying today in my 40s, 35, y'all remember I'm 35 years old. But I'm paying into Social Security, and it is getting spent fast by the boomer X's,
the boomer X's,
and the government, because they saw this big pile of money and said, "Oh, we won't have to pay that out for some time. Let's cycle it through," and did some government mathematics on it. And now the government mathematics has those of us coming 20 to 30 years later for our money that may or may not be there. It's not like it's somebody else's money.
Yes.
It's my money.
Listen,
it's my
money. I don't know if you guys ever thought about it like this, but doesn't it sound like the biggest pyramid scheme ever?
It's definitely a scam. Are you kidding me?
It's but listen, right? In the pyramid schemes, don't it like take the money in and then pay it out and depend on what else is coming in now to pay. Go ask Bernie, and he's alive yet? Has he passed?
Bernie who? Madoff?
Listen, this is not only the biggest scam you have ever seen, it is the biggest legal scam on the planet, because like you said, you're taking my money in automatically with force, because I can't not pay it, and then promising to give it back to me at a future date
in increments
with interest, and it may or may not be there.
And you may or may not get it.
Because you paid my money to somebody else.
Wow.
And you may or may not get it because if something happens to you, you can't get it. It's your money, but you can't get it. One of my nieces called me the other day and she said, "What is OASDI?" I think she was 16. She just got her first paycheck. She wanted to know, what is OASDI? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's for the old people. I think it's actually stood for Older Americans, something. But I'm like, that's how you pay Social Security. That's how you pay your pension, so that when you retire, they can give you back some money. That's what give you back your money, supposedly, plus interest. But
here's the catch. I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. The catch is this: is we have this money going in here. We don't know if we're ever going to get it back. And then if we do get it back, now you're going to tax me on the thing that was a tax, so that I'm still not getting the full value of my money.
Exactly.
And then you have a conversation with me and act like I shouldn't ask questions about it, because, you know, whatever this reason is that you think you shouldn't be questioned by the average citizen who's paying into this to do whatever it is. Now, they may or may not be doing good things or helping it, doing different things for this and that for the world, because for using the money, but that wasn't the purpose of you collecting the money. And so it becomes dishonest, in my opinion, when if I say to you, Carmen, give me $100 every month for the rest of your life, and I'm gonna put it aside for you for your future, and I decide that instead of giving you that money, I decide during that time I'm collecting it, that I'm going to use it however I see fit. And hopefully I'll have it all back by the time you need it.
Mm-hmm. People go to jail for that.
Right. And so scam number 2 is if you're young, if you're single and you pass away, that money doesn't get paid to anybody.
Exactly.
If you are not married and you've paid into Social Security for all this time, that money goes nowhere. If you are not married and you don't have children under the age 18, what kind of poppycock is that? And I don't know where that word just came from. It just came out the air. But
I'm gonna tell you where it came from. That's a boomer extra word. That's a boomer extra.
What kind of like that madness that I've paid into this? I don't even get to decide who my money goes to. It just stays in the government.
Wow. Listen, you are absolutely right. That is one scam, and that's the reason why we're having this conversation. It's all about educating and elevating you with regards to your money. And the other scam is basically money itself. Basically, just the banking system, the credit system, the credit and debt system. It's all big scams. But guess what? We have to understand it, and live within it, so we don't get to some place where we're totally surprised about something. So what I want to do is, we talked a little bit about education. Where are some places? Let's talk to people about specific things that they can do to get this education. Number one, you can meet us here on Thursday nights, twice a month, and we're talking about this. Number two, we have a YouTube channel that's got lots and lots of videos on there that you can go back and look at. We have an Instagram channel, so you can follow us. But there's some other things you can do. We're not just talking formal education, because something is missing there. But we want to talk about some other places that women can get information, credible information, when it comes to money. What are some other things they can do, other than calling us or contacting us at millionaireLadiesMob.com?
You said, what can they do or who
Yeah,
can they
what
do?
are some
I know
things?
what they can do, just some of the steps they can take. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah,
Okay.
books to read, uh, go to the library. What kind of things?
You know, one of the things that I started doing, now this is just me, is looking at where my money goes. Okay. And so you can sit with a financial planner or an insurance agent or someone like us because we have programs like that. But look at your budget, what goes in, what goes out. I'm still doing that because I got kind of lax over the last few months. And I actually started doing that again today. I started looking at what's going out of my account. That's what you're looking for? That's what I started doing. That's just one avenue to see how and where I can use my money and how I can invest my money. Now, investing, you know, stocks. I love stocks. I like cryptocurrency. I like all that kind of stuff. Who are the gurus about that? You have to learn that stuff. You really have to know what you're doing. I love all that stuff though. So I think, did I answer your question? A
Uh,
little bit. A little
so,
bit.
so, so yes, yes and no. That is a specific strategy, and that's definitely one of the first things we will always come back to either a budget. You don't like that word, a spending plan,
Yes.
something that tells us where our money is going, and that is something that's ongoing. So even if you say I'm doing it again, that is not something that ever stops. It goes on and on and on continuously. But what I was more looking for, and maybe Saran can tune into this also, are at specific places that people, or specific things that people can do when they want to learn about money. One of the things that they can do is just to read some books, right? Either go to the library and get some books, use the internet, Google, and look for credible sources. Saran, what else would you say that they can do with regards to education? Not anything else. I'm talking about education and understanding.
So for me, the best resources that a woman can access to get smart about money are books. I'll give you some of my favorites. One of my favorites is What Would the Rockefellers Do? That's one of my favorite books. Another book that I really love is Smart Women. Let me look back at the bookshelf.
So you're telling us we have to read. We have to get the books and read.
Yes, you gotta read
Yes.
them. And then the other one is Money Wealth. One of them is Money Wealth Life Insurance. The other one is Closing the Wealth Gap. That one's by Eugene Mitchell. Another one is
Oh, yeah.
Thy Shall Prosper. Because the thing about money is we have to change our money mindset and then we have to change our money behavior. They go together. If we're not doing both, we may be missing the mark. We might change the behavior, but the mindset hasn't changed. And then that behavior will come back because our mindset hasn't changed about it. So it's important to kind of close that gap and get the education that way. The other thing is to get into some of these masterminds. And you can check and see if the person is credible. Most people, you can check and see if they're licensed. There are some people who aren't licensed who are just living life and they learn stuff, but there are people who are licensed. We are all licensed here. But you want to make sure you get someone credible. The first thing is just don't be handing over a bunch of money to let somebody else invest for you. That's the problem. But get the education first. Now, some of the other education tools, that I love, I am a student of life, if you will, similar to what you were saying, Carmen. I will go to workshops, even if I'm just walking out with one nugget. I feel like it's worth my time, or I'm reminded of something I forgot. I think we believe that because we took a class once that now we know it. And in reality, in order to master something, you have to do it repetitively. There's a saying that goes, should you be afraid of the person who's mastered, who's practiced 100 kicks throughout the year, or should you be more concerned about someone who mastered one kick all year long? Because that person who practiced one kick all year long and mastered that one kick is probably more powerful than the person who spread themselves thin and tried to learn everything. And so the big idea here is to master something first. What I see our women do is jump from thing to thing to thing to thing. You know, first you want to do crypto, then you want to do stocks, then you want to learn to trade, then you want to go to real estate investment, then you want to figure out, you know, how to buy and flip properties, then you want to do this. And I'm all for doing more things. Pick one and master it first. Stay focused, right?
Oh, great
And
idea.
once you get focused and you master at least one thing, then it's easier to incorporate others. So as your mastery skills go up, you master the one, and then you go to then you can incorporate the other one so seamlessly because you've gotten the foundation and you've gotten that thing ingrained into you to where it's second nature, that when you go to add something else, you're really just tweaking to go to master the next thing versus trying to do everything all at once. Hopefully that answered your question.
That's good
Awesome.
information.
I was trying to move you back off the screen.
Yeah, that's absolutely some great information. To add to those books, Saran talked about your mindset. I'm not getting paid. It's not a paid thing, but the psychology.
Yes, that was a good one too. Look, you see, I have to look back. All these books back here are mostly money books.
Oh yeah. I'm like you. Trust me. The Psychology of Money. Think and Grow Rich is another one.
Think and Grow Rich.
This one. This one is called The Power of Zero, and that's some advanced.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That's on my list. I put that on my presentations. But you know what? Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't say this today. I would be remiss. The other big thing about mastering money, and as we go to close the wealth gap as women, is to remember this one thing: money is spiritual. Money is spiritual energy returned to you for your efforts, and putting your efforts in the right direction and focusing it and doing it to have it come back to you overflow, to take your positive energy, your positive abundant energy to create more abundance is what that money is going to do for you. And so we have to start talking to ourselves differently. We have to start walking differently. We have to walk in the sense and the power of I am God's creation, and God gave me the power to create because he created me in his own image and said, go do what I do. You can greater things can you do if I can do this. I'm quoting the scripture all wrong, but you get what I'm saying. But the thing is that we got to use that God power that's been given and ingrained and built into our DNA and understand that we are here to create. And through that creation will allow us to receive from that creation, because that creation is going to help others to do whatever it is that they're doing. Right. And I forgot the scripture, but there's a story that says that you will be cursed if you don't sell what your gifts are. And that's not exactly where it is, but essentially it's like this. If someone had the cure to a disease that you had and they were unwilling to sell it to you because their mindset was jacked up, they were procrastinating, they were trying to create some other perfect way to present it to you, they were having all these whatever family drama, whatever, and they did not offer you the opportunity to buy it, you would consider that person evil. So we have to get out of the mindset of thinking that someone offering us something is being evil. They may have the solution to something you have been trying to find the solution to and offering it to you for a price because it's an exchange of energy and they need it. And so that I'm helping you with this piece of grain with food or toilet paper or whatever it is. And in exchange for me giving you what I have that you need, you have money or whatever the currency is. You have dollars, you have euros, you have whatever the currency is in the country that you're in, and you're giving that to me. And then I can use it to go pay someone else for the thing that I want. And so it's important to see it as an exchange of energy versus anything else. And so you put out the positive energy, you can get it back. It's just building yourself up.
Yeah, listen, I want to say this. At least you're quoting scriptures as opposed to just selling the Bible and can't quote one scripture.
No, don't you dare do that.
I'm just going to put that there. I'm just going to put that out there. And maybe we can sell a Bible, the Millionaire Ladies, the MLB Bible for $39.99, signed by the Millionaire Lady's mom. Listen, this is the greatest country on earth when it comes to creating wealth. Because listen, you know what you said about energy? Absolutely agree with you. The other thing is ideas. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all we need. Ideas,
And you know
right?
what, Carmen? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, I was going to say our brain, the information that we can hold in our brain is so massive. You can't even think about it. So we can learn a lot and how to put that into place, build foundation, just like she said, get that energy. The brain, I'm just like, you can just think about, you can remember probably what you did 20, 30 years ago. You can remember when you read a book, maybe some little tidbit out of that book that helps you in life. And that's what, my memory is not as good as it used to be, but I remember really important things that help me in life today. But you guys are right about the energy and things like that. You are really right about that.
So I want to move on a little bit now that we told them about getting an education. I think we're behind. When we get into these topics, nothing stops us. I'm
I
telling you.
know.
But I want to switch a little bit more now to some things. And listen, this is not financial advice. We are only providing education. Like, so for example, for the woman that's in their 50s, some things that they may want to consider when because now your focus is on the last quarter, right? So we have to do there's certain things that we need to focus on when we are in this stage of our life, right? So getting with someone and talking with them about annuities, which is the only way that you can get money for life, which is the only way that you can not run out of money ever, that you can outlive your money. And the only person that can help you with that is an insurance agent, a life insurance agent. The only person. So things like that in your 50s, you want to be looking at that. You want to be looking at long-term care insurance.
Yes.
And it's because statistics shows that it's so many more of us after age 65 that spend so much time in nursing homes. And again, you can purchase an individual long-term care insurance policy. By the time we get to our 50s is definitely the time we need to look at it, because later on it gets more expensive as we get older. But we want to there are some alternatives if that is not what you can do, right? There are things like life insurance with living benefits, and some of those living benefits mimics those long-term care benefits that you can use if you don't have that. We want to make sure that you are making sure that you get your estate plan done. Oh, wait, let me go back a little bit. Aaliyah is the guru on long-term care outside of an actual long-term care policy, because there's actual what is called home health
Home
care
health care.
policies that she can tell you about, that you can still be able to get yourself taken care of if you need it. Because us in our 50s or in our 60s, our children are in their 30s. And unlike before, these children are taking care of families. It's not always that they can drop and come and take care of you, right? It's not like, so you want to make sure that something is in place for that. And that's like for women in their 40s. You want to talk a little bit more? Those are some things I think specifically that women in their not 40s, in their 50s and older should be looking at. What do
And
you
you know
guys
what?
think
I
about
just
for
wanted to
women in their 40s and 30s?
let me jump in there just for a minute. So I talk to groups, so businesses that say, okay, come in and help us with our benefits. So I always present long-term care as a group basis because people are working. Do you know the only people that actually want it, because you have to have so many enroll in order to get guaranteed issue, all these little requirements, because it can be expensive when you need it, okay? And you couldn't get participation because nobody's talking about it.
Because they
Nobody's
don't
talking.
know. Because they don't know.
That's right. And it's so important to add that to your estate planning. And I tell you, it breaks my heart to see people that could have had it and don't get it, especially at an employer group. You sit down and you look at it, and if it's guaranteed issue, that means you don't have to answer one medical question. You can take it with you when you leave. Those are just little things that I see on a daily basis when I talk to employers and groups and individuals and people, because they need it, but they don't think they need it. They'd rather spend their money on, other things, which is, you have to decide where you want your money to go. You want your money to work for you, then you got to put it to work. You got to put that money to work.
Yeah. So, Rand, talk a little bit about women in their 40s and what they should be doing.
They should just call me.
I like that. But I think I told them that at the beginning. I say, hey, whether you're 40, 30, 40, 50, 60, you want to call the Millionaire Ladies Mom. But again, let's talk. What else?
And it's never too late to do it, is it?
No.
Okay.
But seriously. So one of the things that you want to do when you get into your 40s, what you want to do with your finances, you want to go back and check, where are you right now? And where do you need to be comfortable to get to that retirement age, right? What I'm finding with a lot of my peers, my Gen X peers, is that many of them are finding careers and things that they love, and they feel like, I may or may not retire. I may continue to do this because I love it, especially those starting businesses and doing things like that. But I always tell them to do the math, because when we do the math, we still should be prepared financially to maybe not work as much or to go into full retirement, just depending on what your style is, right? I get two different opposite ends of the pendulum. Some want to retire. Some are like, no, I really love this. I'm going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep doing what it is that I do. But you want to know, think about how many years you've already been working, how much money you made over that period of time. A quick cheat tip is just multiply how much you make a year by the number of years you've been working, or use your social security statement. They know, right? Then you want to see how many years you have left to work. And depending on the number of years you have left to work, you want to determine how much of that can you save towards your retirement. And that'll help you kind of get some type of benchmark and a place to start, so you can be thinking more long-term and short-term. Because at the end of the day, even talking to some of my peers, some of them have the concern, well, what if I die before I retire? Or what if I die right after I retire? But what if you live? What if you live? So we got to be prepared for all of those different options. And so the thing is, that's the big question, the quick math that we just do, where we say, the quick math of how much am I going to make in a lifetime? Let's just take $100,000. If you're going to work 40 or 50 years, you're talking $5 million. And if you're like, well, I only make 50,000. Okay, well, $2.5 million. Still $1 million at the end of that. And so we got to start thinking, well, how much of that do I need to live another 30 years afterwards?
Exactly.
And finding a way to start growing it. That's why I said this conversation is for our 20s, 30s, and 40s, because we got to really get strategic. And in your 40s, you got to get a little bit more aggressive than you do in your 20s and 30s. But I promise you this, if you get aggressive in your 20s, then you will really be killing the game when you get to your 40s. And you will have a super growth on what you're doing. And so the big thing is to do it and figure out, if you continue doing exactly what you're doing right now, where will you end up?
Exactly.
That's the question, right? And I do this in the presentation. Where will you end up? Will you be dependent on the government and charity? Will you be still working? maybe you'll be lucky you won't have no financial worries, you'll be dead already, right? Or you'll be financially stable, or will you be rich, wealthy? Where will you end up? But the thing is you get to decide where you end up by your behaviors today. And so that's really the conversation that we're having with women in workshops, in webinars, in seminars, in our boot camps, in our challenges, and on our podcast. We're having those conversations so that we can decide now instead of being forced to do something because it's our only option.
Awesome. The decisions you make today determine the future. That determines your future. And listen, some other things that I want to add for women in their 40s is to start prioritizing debt. Pay down high interest debt. Focus on getting rid of high interest debt. We've talked about strategies for doing that before, including the snowball method. If you don't know what the snowball method is, inbox us the word snowball and we will get back to you on that. But that is one method that we have spoken about getting rid of debt. Making sure that you're automate payments so that you don't get late payments and things like that. Seek some credit counseling. Definitely make an appointment with the ladies of the Millionaire Mom. And women in their 20s and 30s, we already talked about it, is basically that budget. Everybody has to do that budget. But this is where you can actually make a difference when you are in your 20s, and you can become a superhero when it comes to dealing with your money when you're starting way back then, creating that budget, increasing income, right? Aaliyah talked about the fact that she can work when she's 80 if she chose to do so. Yeah, we can do that if we're all sitting here just reading and writing policies and giving people advice and stuff like that. We can do that. We actually have some colleagues. I know that Aaliyah and I have worked with some colleagues that were well into their 80s that were still out here killing the game and did it because it was fun for them. And so increasing your income and cutting expenses. Yo, I am not telling you not to go on that vacation. You should. I am not telling you not to, enjoy the finer things in life. I just found out today that, should I say this? They're not paying me. But let me share this as a little tidbit with you. If you go to, I'm not telling you not to have that Starbucks, but if you go to Starbucks, I don't know if it's once or twice a week or something like that, they will give you 500 Sky Miles. Hey, I'm okay with
500,
that.
500 what?
Sky Miles on Delta. So you find out about that. Google that up and see if your cup of coffee can take you to Dubai. So so I'm definitely telling you to do that. All right. Yo, this was fun. We had a good time today. Again, when don't we have a good time? I do not know. We have a good time. This was great information, great conversation. Next month is Financial Literacy Month. Yo, Saran has challenged us.
Dang, I thought you forgot.
I did not, because I'm ready.
What's the
I
challenge?
don't have to get ready because I stay ready. She has challenged us to go on live every single day in the month of April, even if it's for 3 minutes. And I'm going to be on there. I don't care how I look. I don't care if I don't have no makeup, no lipstick, no nothing, because I have to make sure that I meet this challenge.
Wow.
All right. So you will be seeing us next month all the time. Prepare to be sick of us. Prepare to be sick of us in April Financial Literacy Month. Yo, I had a great time tonight. Please, guys, share this. Tune in to our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us. Share the information. And join us, right? Saran has a you can join her at joinsaran.com. You can reach me at carmen10k.com. And Aaliyah, I think it's meetaaliyah.com or aaliyah10k.com. But anyway, you can find us at millionaireLadiesMob.com. All of them.
Saran, you're speaking too. You have a lot of speaking engagements.
I do. I have several events coming up in the Maryland, DC area and in Atlanta, actually. So next week, I'll be speaking at Cornerstone Peaceful Bible Baptist Church in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I'm going to be doing a money talk there with some beautiful women. It's a women's group that's hosting me. We're coming and we're going to get some work done. And then I'm going to be doing an event in Greenbelt as well at 10 a.m. at 7375 Executive Place Suite 300, where we're going to be talking about finance there too. But not only are we going to be talking about finance, we're going to be talking about getting into the financial industry to help you build that finance. So, and I'll post it on the Millionaire Ladies Mob page. And then the next week, I'll be in Atlanta the entire week promoting an event that we're having on April the 20th, the Women's Wealth and Wellness Conference. It's going to be in Buckhead, Atlanta, and I'll post a link to register. We don't have that many spots left to register to come to the Atlanta event. We're at almost 200 people. We would love to make it 300, but the hotel said no. So if you're going to come, when I drop the link, you better get registered, but you want to be in the room because we got some powerhouse motivational speakers coming. We got some powerhouse financial educators. I will be there in the building. I am going to be one of the hosts and the MC of the event, leading us through the financial journey while we're there. And then there's a whole bunch of other webinars that I'm doing, and I just can't remember what they are off the top of my head because I'm just trying to focus on April right now.
I know, but this is part of what you need to do.
And then I'm doing a bunch of workshops in May. Yeah. And so the thing is that my goal is not to be booked and busy, but to be booked and productive and be booked in helping women to make decisions and make change, to get them from being inaction, non-action takers to action takers, because action takers are money makers. If we don't start taking action, we won't make the money. And so getting in the room and getting the women to help them lift some of the veil of the financial challenges that they're having is what my job is in the room, to help them to understand that you can go from a place of, like me, having been unemployed, lost my job, spent all my money, savings, retirement, all that, to being in a place where you're building 6 and 7 figure businesses and helping other women build 6 and 7 figure businesses and helping women build their own financial lives, restructure them, bring themselves back to life. Because at the end of the day, when we're in that place of hopelessness, shame, despair, pain, and hurt, we need to know that somebody believes in us and somebody is not looking at us and judging us for whatever the failure was that we somehow find ourselves in that place, but someone that's going to be able to lift us up and be like, all right, sis, let's wipe the tears. Let's put a plan together and let's make it happen. That really is my goal with empowering women and having these conversations, because if we don't have them with one another, then there's no one to do it, because there was no one there to have the conversation with me. I had to dust myself off and read all those books on my own and get in rooms and tip in and hear information without being able to share. This is my pain. This is my struggle. I need help. I need a hug. I need guidance. And so that's why I do it for women.
Good for you.
Listen, that is super awesome. And I know I have been a little bit lax as well, or late to share things that I'm doing. I mean, a lot of the things that I share, whenever I share with, I'm speaking, many of those things you can be a part of, especially if it's virtual and I'm sharing the things. So I did many virtual ones and in-person ones last month. Coming up in April, shameless plug for my Big Facts Money Talks on Wednesdays that I do. If y'all don't know, Saran goes live on Mondays with Talk Money to Me. Unless she's changing, but she's there every Monday. Make sure you follow her and listen to her. And I'm on there every Wednesday. And Leah's on Fridays. But listen, we got the week covered for you guys.
Yeah.
But on Wednesdays, I'm on there. And this next month, I really want you to tune in because I am promoting women and their businesses and what they are doing, changing the community. So I have some powerhouse women coming up all month every week next month, all month, to the point that one had to be in May because May 1st to finish up that series with these women that are coming. So tune in. We're not just talking money, we're talking about community service, we're talking about health, we're talking about wealth and building businesses and things like that. So please join us next month, all month, on the Big Facts Money Talk Show.
Great, great. Thank you guys for joining us. This is a lot of information. You got it. We'll see you in 2 Thursdays.
Yep.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.